Hello and welcome to David and Teah's Secret Space Program Disclosure vlog. I'm Teah. Here, this is David. We are a husband and wife team. We've been married for um, almost 18 years. Wow.
In a few days.
Yeah, in a few days actually. And we're both SSP survivors. And so the exciting thing for me is that David recently has come out as a SSP survivor on this vlog. And this is about our 12th recording. I've been posting them a little bit out of order from how I record them. So I'm not entirely sure if this will actually be the 12th number. But it is July 4th. We're not supposed to be hearing fireworks, but we are hearing them a little bit.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we are.
Yeah, me too. And so David was a super soldier. I became a super soldier, but I was like a telepath intuitive. The nature of the secret space program, regardless, is that it is full of a bunch of intuitives, different types of intuitives. And in this current mode that we're in here in our life, we're both healing and supporting each other in the healing process. And as we both heal, um, we're both remembering more and more. Yet, with that being said, I do have the bulk of memories. I have a lot of memories. Um, and I think that has more than anything to do with the nature of how my mind works, especially as a telepath, and that I'm an emotional thinker, and just the nature of my body's chemistry and all that. Um, but in this vlog here, we have a very casual format, and most people seem to enjoy that, but we've been getting some negative comments about it. Um, you guys need to understand that yes, we do want to deliver this information. We do want to do disclosure, but this is a casual format. We're sharing our lives with you guys. We're not here just to be dispensers of information. This is a process. This is something that we're going through. It's something we're living. It's been very difficult, and in a lot of ways, it's been really scary. And somebody had made a comment about like where you guys get your weed because you're so calm. And I appreciate that a lot actually because um, you guys don't understand how hard it has been for both of us and how emotional we've actually been. And even though we're sitting here and we're calm and we're collected and we're cool and we're trying to present all this, it's been really hard. It's been super duper hard. Um, so this is not a documentary. This is not a debriefing, and it's not a monologue. Okay. Um, and a lot of where I'm getting these negative comments, and it's funny, I didn't think I was going to talk about this, but a lot of
I'm
where,
glad you are.
yeah, a lot of, there's one particular video, it's the second video. Once again, the first video is still not being listed on my channel's page. They say it needs to be processing. So what they did is they gave it a web page, so you can actually access it publicly. But if you go to my channel and you look at, the different uploads, it will not appear in the uploads. It won't appear in any of the searches in the search results. Okay, so it's almost like it's delisted, like it's a private page. Okay, it's not public. It should be. So if you want to watch my first one, but you guys got to understand, like all the way up until the fifth or sixth video, I was extremely nervous and afraid to even be recording this stuff. And even up until the moment I posted these videos, I wasn't even sure I was going to. Okay. So, what I think a lot of people are interpreting to be like some sort of like negative banter between David and I is really more me just freaked out. um, and I asked him to be a part of this because I needed the support. I needed somebody with me to do this. I needed somebody to help jog me. I needed somebody to just kind of hold my hand. And that's what he's been doing. And I really appreciate it. Um, so we do this in like a interview kind of type conversation.
Yeah. That's how it started out. Is I was just going to interview and ask questions, going to go back and forth,
Yeah.
and but then Teah just she like she said on one of I think the other videos, she streams and goes, and so I just let her go.
Right.
But you have to understand that that is this format.
Hmm.
So what if you went and you watched someone being interviewed on some news channel or something, and the news person, what you want him who's doing the interview not say a word?
Hmm.
They're asking questions.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
how we're doing things.
Right.
So
Hmm.
that's it.
Hmm.
And but so it's just been a few people, and we just keep trying to
Yeah.
clarify it. We're not going to change. We're trying to change it for the better.
Yeah. We're trying to
Um,
improve.
yeah, but this is it. This is us. So
This is us.
it
Yeah.
isn't just Teah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's how it is.
Hmm.
Um, so it's only been a couple of people. There's been some really amazingly
Yeah.
nice,
Some
incredible,
people, the majority seem to really like what we're doing
but
here,
just really
and
not even
yeah.
nice,
Hmm.
and respectful and all that. So we don't just a
Hmm.
disrespect. It's only been a few, but we're still gonna
Yeah.
talk about it a little bit
I don't know why, but in all these recordings, I end up in the sunlight and I end up glowing,
here.
and I'm getting this weird light coming from below. It's anyways,
It's okay.
but so and I do really appreciate all the positivity. And there's, to be honest, I think a lot of people just don't like, maybe they don't like a relationship or something, and how much we love each
But I can
other.
ask T anything I want,
It's
anytime I want,
and what
and she
else?
can ask me when I'm doing
Yeah,
some of my
yeah.
things. I don't mind, and it's
What
ridiculous.
what I think is interesting is that people seem to think like they're defending me. Like, let her talk. And I'm like, he's my best friend. It's like people who don't even know me think that they're like defending me from the like
I know. I feel
one
like some
person in my life who's actually supported me in everything that
I
I've
feel
ever
like some
done.
alien or something like
It's like,
in
what?
are alienated. I like an
Yeah,
alien.
it's like
How
just
ridiculous! It's
it's
so dumb.
dumb.
It's so
It's really
dumb.
dumb.
It's dumb. It's just dumb, guys.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway, saw you really wonderful people and
Yeah.
learning, and
Hmm.
hopefully we're helping. But this is about us too. And we said that a
Hmm.
long time ago.
Yeah.
The whole reason is to be
Hmm.
really kind of perfectly honest is
Hmm.
for us
Yeah.
and for Tia, but for both of us,
Hmm.
and it's worked out really well.
Yeah.
And we've made some nice people subscribing, and
Yeah, there's a lot of
I'll call
great
them
people
friends,
watching
some YouTube
this.
friends.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been awesome.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
and
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
so if this isn't for you, then this isn't for you, or
Right.
too bad.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, and it's kind
Yeah.
of it's not a negative attitude. It's just a realistic one. Come on,
Yeah.
we gotta live in the real
Yeah.
world. You don't like a
Well,
certain food, don't eat it. Just that's life.
I
This is how
mean,
we do things.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't annoyed when I read that stuff.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's just
It's
childish. It's immature.
it's really annoying because I don't like being treated like I'm just a source of information.
Well, it's really
I,
disrespectful. You know what? Now that I think about
okay.
it, what you just said is more
Hmm.
important.
Yeah.
It's more disrespectful to you
Hmm.
is to me. Like you don't know what's going on. You can't say, David,
Yeah.
shut up,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. That's
That bothers me,
ridiculous.
and I know I come off as maybe like being really kind of gentle, but I'm really good at drawing boundaries.
Oh,
Okay.
please.
But
Are you kidding?
but another but another thing is I that bothers me is like, this is my life, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm just not a source of information where I'm just going to blurt it out. You know, it really, this is to provide context to this whole thing. This whole
Yeah.
catastrophe called humanity, okay, and Earth life
It's
that's
my
going on
life
right now.
too. I'm not going to be disrespected.
Yeah,
It's our life
it's our
that
life.
we've been together for 20 years.
Yeah, we've been together for 20 years.
And by the way, if you're used to seeing our little sweetheart in the back, she's down here. We tied her up outside.
Yeah.
It's cool and sunny, and it's
Yeah.
a beautiful day. So
Yeah.
she's out here. We're watching. I'm keeping an eye on her.
Yeah.
So she's happy. You're not hearing her pant. Hi,
Right.
sweetheart. So, anyways, Leia's down
All
there.
right, so you guys,
Yeah,
thanks
let's
so
get
much
started.
for our opening thoughts. Today's topic is on time
Yeah.
travel.
So because so this is how we do things, or we're gonna try to keep it
Yeah.
engaged and respectful as we always do.
And so David's, his job, that way I really, what I've asked him to do is to try to kind of keep me moving, and to also hopefully ask good questions that you guys are thinking. So that's my hope, because I don't want to just steamroll over things like I do.
Okay. So there's three parts today, and we'll see if we can get through all of them. And the first one is I'm just going to read what Tia wrote: list of time travel tech,
Mhm.
and in part A has
Mhm.
a list of time travel. Okay, portals, and then a cube thing that she's going to go over. That's interesting. And then moving through space, time traveling, and then quantum computers. Well, I don't know. Oh, these could be their own their own subjects, but let's see what happens.
Right.
And then as Tia's talking about each one, I'm going to write down some questions. Then she's going to stop, hopefully, and look at me or ask me,
Right.
So let's see how things go. Anyway, so
Uh-huh.
let's okay, honey. So let's go with
Okay.
So the,
So portals.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Part one,
Well,
portals.
and actually, the reason why I want to talk about this is because Project Looking Glass has come up a lot in things, and Project Looking Glass is really, I think, Ark of the Covenant technology. Okay, and so I am going to talk about Ark of the Covenant. Um, that's going to be part of my fun stories, which is the third segment. But I wanted to first list the different types of time travel tech that I remember. Um, and so part of it is, I guess I shouldn't call it time travel tech, just time tech, right? And some of it is traveling and some of it is information. And so the first thing that David was talking about there is the portals. Um, so portal technology is used like all the freaking time. Um, both Americans, both Nuggets. It's like everybody has it. Um, and so uh, I do believe that the first portaling tech was given to the Nuggets, the not seen,
The
nug,
not seen nuggets that we do see,
yeah,
but we don't see.
the not seen Nuggets, when they made their partnership with the Orion Syndicate. Um, now, I don't know exactly for sure. But the weird thing about time travel tech, right, especially portaling, is that when you get it, it's like it's always been there. And so I do have memories from the MIC phase one where time travel tech is being used then, all the way back in the early late 1800s. Um, so that even the Americans, I believe, had that tech. Um,
MIC being military industrial complex.
yeah, and so
Because not everybody knows the terms and so.
right, and like I said, you know, I've been used a lot. The telepath ability is really important in the space program. Um, most aliens communicate through telepathy. And of course, when you're dealing with like bug people and all sorts of other weird people, you know, there is no language. It's just not going to happen. But you can do, you know, mind to mind kind of stuff. Um, and sometimes in interfacing with different alien species, all of their minds work a little bit differently, and so they all kind of work at, you know, different ways. But you know, like I remember like working with fish people, like these weird salamanders. I think they were. Um, it's like really wet and fluid the way their minds work, and it's like you have to like connect to it, and then you have to stay with it. Um, so anyways, that's a weird side note. I didn't mean to go down that road. But that's all. So there's portals, right? And what the way they use portals in doing time travel intel is they'll just keep jumping into the future and seeing what the future looks like, and then come back and then try and manipulate it. And especially because they do have time travel tech, um, they will live a timeline. Like an event will happen, they'll go through the process of doing investigation and finding out how it was created. Then they'll travel back into the past and manipulate those elements.
Leia, Leia.
Um,
Sorry.
let's pause it. Okay, so we just had some firecrackers and Leia went a little crazy. We paused it.
Sorry about that.
Um,
She
okay,
like leaped in the air like 3 feet.
that's pretty good. But anyways, so they with portals they will keep jumping into the future, get information, and go back to wherever they jumped from, and to try and steer things in a different direction. Um, and so that's going on a lot.
Can I ask a question? Oh,
Yes.
no way! Wow, this is exciting. Okay, just a couple
Hmm.
quick
Mhm.
ones. On telepathy, what percentage of our other extraterrestrial brothers and sisters are telepathic, where they only use that, versus vocal, like they're using vocal?
Oh boy.
If you don't know,
Um,
you don't know. Or
like,
give it
do you
the
mean do they communicate with their own species vocally?
no, where they're only telepathic versus where they could either maybe they'll use their voice, a voice sound, but do most aliens on so
Mm-hmm.
it's not a bad word. Um, are they telepathic
Yeah.
or did they speak?
Yeah.
Well,
So most,
are they
I
telepathic?
would
Is the
say,
question.
like, animal
In other words, is speaking like a
aliens,
lower level?
because
Is it
evolution,
really a lower
you
level?
guys, I mean, so that once again, like this weird like pitting thing that they do, like, is it evolution or creation? It's
Yeah,
both. Okay,
of
like I was
course.
talking about. So there's all the scientific evidence of a universal mind. Okay, great mind, God. Okay, but there's also all this evidence for evolution, and so it's both. Okay, and so there are like human people like us, but then there are a lot of what we would call like animal people, like bug people, fish people. I remember minotaurs. I remember bat people, sponge people, like sea sponge people. I remember all sorts of different kinds of fish people.
Do
Oh
they
my gosh,
do
there's
they
so many.
speak or
So
are they?
usually the animal people are telepathic, but a lot of the animal people in the syndicate, I also do remember having some sort of speech. And that I think a lot of people in the syndicate, because we're all a weird type of prisoner, that a lot of our telepathy abilities have been taken away from us.
I was
Um,
gonna say because we have telepathy
yeah.
and we speak, so
Hmm.
maybe it's both. You can do both
Yeah.
if you want. Could a fish speak? Maybe.
Well, okay. I mean, I have you guys. I have some like
Fish.
super.
I don't mean okay. I don't want to go too deep.
I have some super crazy memories, but I remember like talking to a whale, okay? And he was a king, king of his people. He's a whale king. That was all telepathic.
Okay.
And we were talking like this in our minds,
Sure.
you know.
Sure. Sure.
So that is um I mean telepathy is like it's a better way to communicate. You can't lie. Um I mean I remember talking to aliens and like some really advanced people. And I don't know if we should go down this
No. No.
road.
No. No. No.
Okay, we'll do
Save it
this.
though.
We'll do this
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
time.
There's so
But
much. I know.
like I tried to hide something from them, and it was like I put this water bottle in front of me to hide me. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to hide myself, and I'm putting this water bottle in front, and it's like they could see around it. You know, it's like there's no hiding. You know,
Hmm.
which is why I think the people who keep us in chains, why they want us to not have telepathy. Because if that's how we're communicating, we'd be able to see deception a lot easier.
Everything. Yeah. Of
Yeah.
course. Sure. Sure. Um,
Mhm.
okay. So, well, no, I was going to say just there's a country now trying to suppress people to try to who well it happens everywhere. Any type of evolution of mind that's in spirit
Mhm.
is always suppressed.
Right.
That's just goes.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's why they're feeding us garbage through our brains, through our minds, through the TV, through
Oh
food.
yeah. Oh
I was
yeah.
talking about food.
Food is
Holy
huge.
crap! It's yeah, they are poisoning you on a level that we could talk
Mhm.
about another time. Okay, then my other question was
Mhm.
the portals are they're specific ones for time? So you go back in time, or is there just in portals where I just go in this timeline,
Mhm.
say from here to Jupiter or somewhere to Saturn or some other galaxy or some. So see what I'm saying?
Um.
Because you think portal in time,
Mhm.
but is it always time? Is it always a forward in time or back in time or?
Well, you could conceivably use a portal to stay in this time and just go to a different
That's
location,
what I'm saying.
but always when you portal, there's always a location and a time component. So you would have to program the time component to, like July 4th, 2020, I want to go from, here to the moon. I would have to put in the July 4th. Like if I today wanted to travel
So it's like in
to the
Google
moon.
Maps, start point and end point, but
Yeah.
you could add a time point in that.
There's always a location and point like GPS
Right.
and a time point
Okay.
always.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was like Time Machine, the movie Time Machine. You guys ever seen that?
Oh. See that movie Time Machine, I think
Remember, I
is
had to put in the.
there's so many components of the Ark of the Covenant in there. So we should do that someday. Talk about that.
I think there's an original one and there's a newer one. So,
Mhm.
anyways,
Mhm.
okay. So those are my 2 questions. So let's move on.
Okay.
We're moving on.
Okay, cube thing. So that's the yellow cube, I think, that they keep talking about. I have F quality memories of that,
Okay, let's see here.
but there's a lot there's a lot of tech that has this idea of seeing probable futures that so that's just one of, I don't even know why I put it on there. That's a total F quality memory, but that thing is real. I do remember
That's
that.
yellow.
Yeah.
Another
The,
yellow
the,
thing.
the thing they talked about, HRC held the cube, or the yellow book or something that they've been, you know,
Are you talking about HRC like that HRC?
yeah,
Our favorite one in the whole world?
yeah.
Okay, we don't want to talk about that. Okay.
But that she held this device and saw herself as being president of the United
Oh, that
States,
right.
and um and got all happy and excited.
It's okay, sweetie.
Here, I'm gonna pause this again.
So we're probably going to be going back and forth as the firecrackers go off, and then Leia,
Yeah.
and then we come back. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
going to be today's.
Mhm.
Okay, so next we're looking at moving through space and time
Yeah.
traveling. So
So
we're.
so this is a weird thing, okay?
Oh, is this
And
what?
I don't even know if this is right, you guys. And I am not a scientist, okay? Like I am so not a scientist. I mean, I could be if I like wanted to play myself that way, but I don't really care. So, but I do remember that anytime you're traveling through space, you're actually time traveling. And I know this sounds really weird. So if you take a spaceship and you try to go to the center of the universe, when you actually, and see, this sounds so ridiculous, but when you actually arrive at the center of the universe, you actually are um, going to arrive there at the beginning of the universe. I know that sounds crappy. So if you actually wanted to arrive at the center of the universe and see what it looks like at this point in time, you actually have to portal there. Does that make sense? I know that
And if you
sounds,
portal there, then are you still in this time?
yeah, you would have to program it. But if you actually move through
Yeah.
space,
Well, isn't
you
that
actually go into the past. I know
well?
that sounds
Well, hold
weird.
on now. So Einstein and the whole thing of you're going faster than light,
Hmm.
then time slows down.
Yeah.
So you're things are changing with. Yeah. Let's
So
not go too far into.
that I could be totally wrong. Okay, I could be totally wrong about
Okay,
that,
but
but
that's okay.
there's weird stuff there, and at this point in time, that's as best as I can explain it.
Well, this is simple, but
Hmm.
when you look at a star,
Hmm.
you're looking at
The
the
past.
past. Isn't that crazy?
Hmm.
So you're
Yeah, it has
just
something to
that's
do with like the light travel and all that stuff.
how long it takes to get here. It's been done for millions or billions of years.
Right.
That's already gone.
Yeah.
But the light's moving here.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's cool and kind of okay.
Yeah.
So next,
Cool and weird.
cool, weird. We like it.
Hmm.
Scares us.
Yeah.
Okay, let me read.
It scares us.
Quantum, quantum, quantum computers.
Quantum.
I love the. Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to tell you about the guy who
Anytime.
said quantify every 5 minutes. Okay. Quantum computers, devices which get info from other timelines.
So
So is that
this
same
is
yellow
gonna sound
box or cube?
no,
Okay.
no. So this is something that the governments are using. They have this um
Oh,
and this is gonna sound so dumb, you guys. This sounds so ridiculous.
it all
Okay,
sounds dumb or
but
ridiculous.
I don't. Okay, once again, this is like I'm not a scientist. Okay, this is something I'm remembering, and it's probably wrong,
Leia.
or I'm like only getting half of it right, or something. But like cell phones, right? There's a cell tower. I seem to remember that a cell tower can be programmed to either deal with multiple devices in one time or one device in all times. I know that sounds crazy and weird. Okay. I was just telling David that maybe this will be like a 2 segment one because it's already like almost a half hour and
Yeah.
we're not even through the first part yet.
Yeah, there's
So
3 parts.
there might be like this might be like a time travel part A and B, something like that.
Okay.
But
Sounds good.
but yeah, so maybe that sounds totally dumb, okay? But I seem to remember that like so like your cell phone device, right? a cell tower can either network multiple devices in one time or one device in all times. And so key personnel in the military have a device that is getting timeline information from all sorts of timelines. And they use that information to strategize. Okay. So, so if you want to call it a quantum computer, but it looks just like a cell phone.
Okay.
Now, yeah, okay. So I'll just leave that at that.
Okay. So I really don't have any
I
questions.
honestly, I think that has to do with like a Tesla coil or something like that. Like there's weird stuff related to Tesla and all the tech that he did, and Tesla was really a key figure in a lot of this stuff, big time. And he was used in the program, okay, just like Einstein was.
Kind of a side note.
Yeah.
For both Teah and I, we thought he died young, or not young, but
Yeah, it's weird.
mid-age. You know, I don't know, 40, 50. But
Yeah.
then we're like, what?
But now
like,
he's lived really old.
yeah. And then they went in and took all his stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a weird Mandela. Okay.
That's a
So
weird Mandela for us.
yeah, I swear. Okay,
Yeah.
that's so strange.
Yeah.
But okay. So part and parcel of everything that's happening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move into part 2
Yeah.
and see how far we got. Project Looking Glass.
Yeah. Project Looking Glass.
So okay. So what I have here, just so I can read your notes,
right.
is that Space Nuggets Looking Glass,
Yeah.
and what I wrote was is different than the one that's being portrayed now. So anyways, that's it. That's my lead in.
Okay. So don't use this video as a source for learning more about Project Looking Glass. Okay. So if you want more information, David Wilcock did an interesting stint on it recently. So look up his video. And then there's a whistleblower on Project Camelot. Do you remember his name? I should have wrote down his name.
Bill.
Bill something.
Yeah. Woods.
Bill Woods.
Wood.
Bill Wood or Bill Wood, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll post the link.
Was that what he was talking
But he was the one that blew the whistle on Project Looking Glass. Okay.
Hey.
Now,
keep going.
It's this weird construction thing. It's got a base and it has like alien blood in it or something, or alien parts, or alien dust, alien body dust or something like that, and it has a big glowing thing. Okay.
Their bones or something.
Yeah.
I forgot what DW said.
Yeah.
He's on my S list right now. But we'll talk about that later.
How do you don't talk about that?
Okay, then we won't talk about it.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna do this. Hold on. Okay, we're sort of getting this, I think, pretty decently. So you can see the date here. This is 2 years ago that I had this memory. Okay. All right. But okay, and I'm just gonna read this. Okay, so another memory even crazier than any of the others, where I'm a captive ward of a Nugget Draco general in World War II, where they use me to predict the future. Device is very important and powerful, has capability to do much more than see future, can control weather and create paradise on Earth. I had to, but did not want to destroy it. I really wrestled with this decision. Okay, this is before I remember this as the Ark of the Covenant. Okay, but you can see here, okay, so wooden box, this whole gold-plated floor, this whole thing was gold-plated. And you can sort of see it's like a beveled edge. I tried to draw that. Okay. And there's a crystal ball here. There were controls all along the sides. Okay. And this is super weird. Okay, like, so there were 3 pieces that come off of it. And there was this weird case that could actually shrink. Okay. And there were 2 gold balls and a gear. So this gold ball, and then one of these gears here. Okay. And you can see this. So it's like 2 pieces, a middle circle and then an outside circle. The outside circle went left, and then the inside went right. Okay. And yeah, this was velvet and gold ball gear. So all of this is gold. Okay. And this thing, I do remember, I'm pretty certain I should have wrote it down, but I remember that it collapsed. Okay, so that you would put in the gear, put in the balls, and you would put this thing on a spindle, and it had like 3 circles that would generate and spin. And I wrote creates white misty cloud to see future. The gold balls had wings on it. Okay, and the Draco General kept these with him at all times. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this up here as I kind of keep talking about this. Is this what I wanted to? Okay, I wasn't gonna tell the story of this just yet. Okay, um, but when I was watching the information on Project Looking Glass, okay, I'm gonna pause this. So David's like trying to keep Leia calm.
Sit down. They're probably gonna leave.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
So I wanted to mention that, and I'll go into my story of the memory of being in World War II. Okay, later on in the program here, if you want to call this a program. Um, now, so let me turn this back up. Okay, so not in the picture anymore.
It's okay.
Um, so Project Looking Glass. So when I'm hearing that and it creates a white misty cloud, I'm like, oh crap, that's the Ark of the Covenant. And when I some time ago I had a weird memory of what I would call the NAZI looking glass. Okay. And I remember wearing their uniform. Okay, it's gonna get kind of dark. We're gonna turn that up a little bit. And wearing a collar. And like I mentioned before, the collar would put me in an altered state, making me essentially compliant, but also, going into almost a sleep-like state, like a meditative state where I can interface with aliens better or high technology. And I realized I should have uh, drew a picture of this thing, okay? But um, this thing had a platform that you stand on. And then it had, if you want to call it like a movie screen, okay? But instead of the movie screen being in front of you, it was turned. Okay? So you're standing, the movie screen is like this and it's beveled. So it's actually turned. And actually there's 2 movie screens. And actually, if the one thing that I'm calling a movie screen, it's not really a movie screen. It was a projection, okay? And it would project onto another movie screen. So you're looking into this like corridor type thing, and both things are curved. And the one thing on the left, okay, which was the projector, if you want to call it that, it just glowed white. Okay, I know that sounds really weird, but it was just light. And the intuitive, okay, and this technology is very much dependent upon the quality of the intuitive, okay? But what I remember I would have to do is I would have to project my mind down this corridor as far as I could. And it was weird because it's this curved thing. And I would have to essentially try and see beyond the curve, beyond like what my eyes could actually see. And the more that I activated this, it would project the future onto the right panel, which was just a blank wall. Okay. And they would watch that wall to see events. And so I remember like kind of having this funneling like funnel and just pushing um further and further and further and further and further and further. And the more I did that, the further into the future would be projected on this weird wall thing.
Oh,
Now, okay, before we get to question time,
okay.
the thing is like in this mental state, there's a period of time like in this, and this is true like when I would use the Ark of the Covenant, that where I would become aware. So even in this like drawn down state, when eventually I become aware, I start giving them misinformation purposefully. And I know that they always saw that as a person just becoming less effective. But the reality is that there's a certain point that even when they're manipulating me in these states, that I would become, I would become more aware. Uh, it's I don't know. It sort of loses its shock value, I guess. And that's when I start. I think I mentioned in some of my previous videos. I lied to them as much as I possibly could. Okay. Side note.
I believe you on that one.
Mhm,
Okay, so, yeah,
mhm.
okay. I don't want to get yelled at. Not by you. I'm just kidding. Yell at me. I yell back. Okay, so, couple things. Um, Trying to read my own handwriting. Oh, okay. Oh, this is real important.
Mm,
Remember, okay, in my video,
mhm, mhm.
I talked about the blue, and we did the pictures of it,
Yeah.
the blue, and that's coming up.
Oh, the wall
Yeah, you
thing.
should be able to
Yeah.
have seen that.
Yeah.
You just described
Oh, really?
that's what that is.
Oh, weird.
So you triggered me
Oh.
because those are projection. They're not just
Mm,
lights,
mm.
and they're and it's a wavy wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, a wavy corridor.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
Huh.
she did really well on that one.
Yeah, she did.
And these things are symmetrical.
Hmm.
So it's black wall with these blue or like I said, red or yellow from the other video,
Mhm.
my video, and it's
Mhm.
our video, and they are directly in line
Yeah.
with across from the other ones.
Mm.
So because you're
Mhm.
not just walking through some nicely weird, I don't know what it's called, new age, new wave,
Right.
there's a reason for that. But
Mhm.
the two things I
Mhm.
remember, well,
Mhm.
a bunch of it is the
Mhm.
lights
Yeah.
on them. Everything's black except for these beautiful. I mean, it was amazing.
Hmm.
And then it was changing me.
Hmm.
And then that the wall, it was like wavy like this. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, the corridor,
Hmm.
and it was pretty tight. I said 48 inches. I want to make a correction.
Hmm.
I would almost say 36, like 3 feet. Oh crap! There's a dog. I hate when people have their off leash dogs in the leashed area, but oh, God bless them. Okay, so all right.
Yeah, she is.
So okay, so what do you think of that?
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
Okay, then I have
Mhm. Mhm.
so I
Yeah.
don't know.
Mhm.
Then
Mhm.
so that's tying
Mhm.
something. That's
Yeah, that's
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
And this is pretty small. I was going to ask you, what is this, like 3 feet, 2 feet?
Okay, so this arc, um,
Is this isn't
this is
obviously
small.
this isn't the one
This
that
is super
you
small.
see on
Okay, so
Wilcon.
so I yeah no I remember this arc. Actually, I remember the several arcs. Okay, you guys, I remember the Ark of the Covenant. It's a device just like any other, and that there are some that are huge, and there's some that are very small. And it's interesting. The one that's described in the Bible, I remember this one was like a toolbox, like a small, like little carry toolbox. So it was like,
How come the one in the
how
Oh,
much
go ahead.
space is this? Like,
About a foot. We'll call it 12 inches.
so maybe 12 to 18 inches
Okay.
in width. and like 24 inches.
You're talking about height.
No, I'm talking about depth.
Oh, depth. Okay.
And then like maybe 24 inches long. And then as far as high goes, about the same as it is deep. So it's like a rectangle. And
Huh.
that was small. And
Okay.
but this thing, okay, this weird thing, like when it was full size, it was like this big, but it could shrink this case.
Okay. So I got
Yeah.
a question.
Mhm.
What was the show where the moon? There was like different seasons. The moon was blown up. It was like,
Mhm.
and there was a girl Daisy who was the
Mhm.
killer of a planet killer. Remember?
Oh, that's Shield, isn't it?
Shield. I was gonna call it. I know
Yeah.
it's not Spectre, but it's Shield.
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
In that last season, at least the
Mm.
one we watched,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
just described that. This was in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was what it was all about.
Hmm.
And you could create a portal.
Oh. Mm.
So that was, it's just like that. And they had this thing.
Okay.
Remember that?
I was
Remember
triggered on
this
this
with
thing.
with
Yeah,
that with
I don't
this.
remember
This was
what they used, right, to destroy the world, because right, the Earth
well.
was
She
blown
was
up
no.
and
She was the destroyer of her chi or her ki
oh,
of
oh,
energy.
right, 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 right.
So
Okay.
they were feared her.
Right, right, right. Okay, so I
But
was triggered
but this was in it
about this thing, the
from that
Ark.
show.
No, no. It was a Stargate episode.
Oh,
And there's an I don't
Stargate what? Atlantis.
yeah, I think Stargate Atlantis. And they go to where they're a planet they're trying to terraform and they're running this device and it's creating a storm. Now the thing I remember about the Ark is that
Yes, yes, yes. Because I
it,
remember the what's this?
if
The goofy guy.
if the wrong person uses it, it becomes the opposite. It becomes like a destruction tool that you cannot just anybody cannot use this thing. Okay. And since we're talking about the subject, okay, I remember interfacing with it. And like I was talking, maybe I haven't talked about this, but when in certain times when I'm interfacing with people, I go into a state where I'm basically like a drone. Okay, like there's I'm not conscious, so I need somebody to ask questions. So I have a lot of memories where somebody is asking me questions, and then I will pose that to the alien. So I'm like a robot device. I'm a device myself, right? And so this was how the Draco Nugget General was working with me. So, and by the way, I'm a child in this one. I'm like 10 years old. And I'm interfacing with this weird glowing misty cloud thing. I'm looking into it and he's asking me questions about the future. And this went on for a long time. I even remember the house. I remember I lived with a family. So this guy had a family and his wife was a woman who had a child previously with another man, and then they had children themselves. And I remember the children that he had with her were half breeds. Okay, and they grew like twice as fast. And he basically kept this woman prisoner by threatening her first child that she had with a previous marriage. So she stayed compliant. And I remember they kept me in this attic and all this weird, crazy stuff. Okay. Um, and he would traumatize me, okay, every day to keep me. So I remember like sleeping through the whole day. And I would wake up at night and use the arc and then traumatize me. Okay. And I won't go into how he traumatized me. Okay. But bad stuff, right? And then blink me. And but I remember at one point, okay, when I was started, my consciousness was starting to rise in this state. I started to become more aware. At one point, I ask, and I ask into the cloud. I say, "What is this thing?" And this woman in white appears to me, and she says, "It's the Ark of the Covenant." So that's how I know it was the Ark of the Covenant. When I first had the first memory, I didn't know what the device was. But then more will unfold. And I said, "Isn't that in the Bible?" And she goes, "You mean you don't know?" It is the 4th of July, you guys. Happy 4th of July. So anyway, so she says, "You mean you don't know what this is?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Hold on." And she leaves. And I'm sitting there. She comes back and she says, "It's okay. Everything's okay." And I know she told me some other things. I don't remember what they were. But I started asking some questions about what I was doing and what I was involved in, and she did tell me that they were using me to see the future. And that's when I started giving misinformation to the Nazis, the Nuggets. Sorry. Um, so that's when I started, and I remember seeing images of wars and things like that. And that's when I started telling him the wrong things. I would not tell him what I was seeing. I told him wrong dates, all sorts of things. So, yeah. So going a little out of order than what I expected, but that's okay.
I think that's a good stopping point.
Yeah, yeah.
I do.
So, and we got a story in, so we sort of transitioned into story time. Which, do you have any questions for me?
No, that's really good.
Okay.
So,
now you're glowing.
I know.
Okay, so in this next segment, because I did not get to go into, I don't know if you guys want more detail of the World War II stuff, and that whole memory thing, what the house looked like and stuff like that. But I would like to talk about, I also do remember, I do remember acquiring the Ark of the Covenant, this particular Ark. And so I was going to share that.
Oh, I do have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. So the one in the Bible,
Mhm.
well, how many are there?
Well, there's only, I think, one they describe in the Bible, but there's a lot of people who, if you start looking into this stuff, they talk about there might have been 2 or 3, they think, or whatever.
Okay.
I'm not an
Is
expert
Project
on
Looking
this.
Glass, the other one, not this one that you described, but the other one, is that, you said that's the Ark of the Covenant also?
I think it's Ark of the Covenant technology.
Technology. Okay.
Okay, let me just put it that way.
Okay, that's good. And then, so the one in the Bible where the
Mhm.
people die, and
Yeah.
if they open it or they do get too close, or
Yeah.
what's that all about?
Well, so
Or is that holding things like
so
the Holy Grail?
so
Oh,
remember,
geez.
so this is like a wooden box here, and remember you could touch it because it was wood. But what I remember is that the whole thing was gold plated, and so when it's electric and
Well,
it's on, it's like really deadly. Like you shouldn't touch it.
I don't know if anybody knows,
Yeah.
but why gold is so sought after. It's not the word I'm looking for, but
Yeah.
it's the most just it's the
Mhm.
most conductive
Right.
substance,
Right.
conducting energy,
Right.
electric. So why,
Yeah.
So gold, there's something more to it that makes it a precious metal.
Right.
It's the most conductive.
Right.
So you're conducting. Okay, so I just wanted to just give a little science
Yeah.
there.
So
But
what
do
is
you know
that
what's
thing?
do you know what's in the biblical one? Are there
You know what? This thing is
artifacts?
dying, the battery.
Well, it's
So
a good time for us to stop.
yeah.
Then. Well, let's do a cliffhanger there.
Okay.
So you can come back to that, and I'll re-ask you that
so we'll come
question.
back to Shangri-La,
Yeah,
where it was sourced, and you guys have a great day.
That's it.
All right, sayonara.